Hi there, thank you so much for staying here on News Desk. Our sincere apologies for the loss in feed there to the presidency and also to the State House where some demonstrators have gathered. But coming up in business, Darryl will be telling you how confidence in the capital market is waning following the inability of some fund managers to pay back investment. He's got details. Hello, Darryl.
Hi, Bernice, and that's true. Aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management Limited say confidence in the fund management scheme, treasury bills and bonds will continue to decline if government fails to address the issues concerning Gold Coast Fund Management. Customers are worried they are unable to either access or retrieve their funds since July 2018. Prince Appiah has been speaking to the leadership of the group, which demonstrated last week.
A display of musical dexterity composed to communicate the message of these aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management. The popular one was by this visually impaired. This was last week. Leadership of the aggrieved customers are not happy with the response since their demonstration on Tuesday.
It might surprise you to note that since the petition was forwarded, we haven't received any form of assurance or any communique, both from the Gold Coast Fund Management, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Bank of Ghana.
One of them, Emmanuel Somwa, whose business has collapsed due to his locked-up investment, believes this trend will affect their confidence and trust in fund management schemes in future.
When it comes to my health too, ever since my funds got locked up, my blood pressure has been on an upward surge. What they are doing is killing our confidence in the fund management system. I don't think after receiving my money, even if a fund management is assuring me to give me 50 pesos on my principal, I'll deposit it there. Government should arise. Otherwise, it will inform the decision of the general public that we will not buy anything that has to do with treasury bill, bonds, investment, or whatsoever.
The aggrieved customers therefore want Yoko to investigate the case. Prince Appiah reporting.
Now, government has hinted a bill to improve its expenditure on research and development as a percentage of GDP is nearing Parliament's approval. Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong spoke to Joy Business at a scientific and lifetime recognition awards ceremony organized in Accra.
Currently, government's budgetary allocation to research stands at 0.45% of the country's GDP. As part of government's educational reforms, President Akufo-Addo promised to increase the amount to 2.5% of GDP to boost all research programs in both private and public institutions. The sector minister, Professor Kwabena Frimpong spoke to Joy Business.
They are not getting the resources that they need to do the work. And so it all boils down to the amount of money that we devote to research and development in this country. And because it's not enough, and this government has seen it, that is why for 2 years now, the president is saying that he wants to raise funds available for research. So if it moves up to 1%, we know that we'll get enough resources to make research and development meaningful in this country.
The senior minister, who was the special guest of honor at the event, Yao Osafo-Mafo, challenged the CSIR to work hard to place science at the foundation for the country's development.
If you take the universities in Germany, each one of them, there is a direct relationship between the university research departments and industry. CSR should create relationship with the private sector, with industry, with all those who are trying to go into production. Because your production must be influenced by research.
On his part, Director General of the CSIR Ghana, Professor Victor Kwame Ajiman, disclosed plans to set aside a day to celebrate scientists in the country.
We have to give due recognition to scientists. And it is my dream, and I'm sure that of the Minister and the Honorable Minister, that some time to come, just as we have National Farmers Day, Teachers Day, we will have a day for scientists.
The CSIR, in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, recognized and awarded some Ghanaian scientists, researchers, directors and their deputies, both past and present, for their contribution to the institution and the country. The occasion was on the theme CSIR, 60 Years of Research with Impact for Sustainable Development.
Now, the International Advertising Association Vice President and Area Director for Africa, Nokodria, is asking advertising firms to embrace new trends in technology to remain relevant. Speaking to Joy Business at the 3rd Africa Leadership Conference, she asked the advertising firms to be proactive or lose out in the current advertising space.
For it to succeed, it's about 4 key R's. It's the revenue, the reputation, the research, and the regulation. You know, and across the continent, there are so many issues around regulation which would be needed, we need to address. So it's important we galvanize our efforts, discuss how we move it forward. Countries, other countries, some countries are ahead of the other. And without regulation, effective regulation, we cannot upgrade the quality of the industry.
Speaking of the industry, how do you assess Ghana's performance over the past few years?
Well, within the IA world, we are champions. Within the IA space, we've led the crusade, we've believed in the industry, and we have led it. But when it comes to our specific country, there's a lot to be done around regulation, because we've been moving for the advertising bill for some years now. Thankfully, it's almost nearing the end stage. So with that, a lot will change, because it will highlight the professionals who come into it. It will talk about what can be done and what cannot be done.
It's day 2 of that conference. They will bring you more in subsequent bulletins. It's back to Bernice.